Welcome to the channel. I'm Michael Mangus, a hunt advisor with Rolling Bones Outdoors. And this video is for people that have been whitetail hunting their whole life and are getting ready to do their first Western hunt. I'm going to break down the areas that you should prioritize for your gear and try to reuse as much as we can from your whitetail gear toolkit. All right, the first category that I do is survival and logistics. So depending on what kind of style hunt you're doing, this is going to really depend on what you need to do in this category. So if you're going with an outfitter and a lot of that is provided, you don't have to worry about buying it. But if you're doing it yourself and it's a backpack hunt, first I'm going to talk about getting yourself a good sleeping pad. And I'm not going to go into too much depth. I'll put the links for the gear that I use. But you want to get yourself a good sleeping pad that's going to be rated for the conditions you're going to be in. And same with the sleeping bag. Also, what's very important is navigation. So I use a Zoleo, and this is so you don't need to have cell service. You can hook this up that has an app in the text specification. It also has the SOS feature. It will enable you, if you fall and break your leg, it'll send help. You're also going to want to print out maps and also use some sort of navigation app. So I use Onyx and Go Hunt, and you want to make sure to download those apps before the hunt so you can get to them even if you don't have it downloaded, or even if you don't have service. Also, you're going to want a kill kit, and a lot of these things can be recycled and stuff that you already have for your hunting. So going into that, you're going to want your game bags for the meat. So you're going to want your cord, your knives, also your headlamp, all of that. And then most importantly in this category is going to be water. So even if you are going with an outfitter, you're going to want something to purify your water. I have here a life straw. On my upcoming hunt, I'm actually going to use the Rail water purifier bottle. All right, the next category is optics and rifle. And this all depends on what you already are using. So when it comes to a rifle, if you have a 270, a 30-06, a 308, that is fine to bring out on your Western hunt. If you're using a brush gun like a 30-30 or a street valve cartridge, or even like a 12 gauge slug gun, then you probably want to prioritize getting a better gun to hunt out west, something that you can shoot further, because your shots that you're going to be getting, you want to be proficient to at least 200 yards, but you want to get beyond that. Next, looking at optics, you want to make sure you have your binoculars, your spotting scope, your rangefinder. I have some of those here. And this is definitely a category that I recommend getting high quality optics right away, so you're not just rebuying and upgrading your optics. Vortex, Leopold are good brands to go with. When you're hunting out west, you're going to be doing a lot of hunting with your eyes, so it's definitely important to prioritize the optics. The next category is what I like to call your haulers. So it's what you're going to be using to move up on the mountain, carry your stuff, but then most importantly, haul your meat off the mountain. So that comes down to having a quality pack and quality boots. Starting with the pack, you want something that has some sort of frame in it that's going to provide that support that you're going to need. I use Badlands. Mystery Ranch is another great brand to look at, but I definitely prefer Badlands. And then next, looking at your boots, you want to have a good quality pair of boots, especially depending on your hunt. Now, for what I have here, this is something specific because in Kodiak, they want you to use hip boots due to the wet climate. But if you're out on a mountain hunt, get yourself a good pair of mountaineering boots, like a Kenetrack or a Crispy's. The next category is your clothing. This is something that, compared to the other categories, I would put off maybe on your first hunt, depending on what you have. Try to use what you already have and save that money and put it towards the other categories. However, depending on the climate and what you already have, you might need to upgrade a year. I do have a full video on my channel dedicated to just what I use in my layering system. For the most part, if it's your first Western hunt, I would try to reuse as much of your layers that you already have for whitetail hunting. The biggest priorities that I would make if you don't already have it, or depending on the quality of the deer you already have, is I would get yourself a pair of merino wool top and bottoms. And then also, especially depending on where you're doing, a good pair of rainbird top and bottoms. All right, and the last category is what you can't buy. It's important if you're going to be successful going out west that you prepare your body and mind. So doing the preparation to prepare yourself for the elevation, for the style of hunt that you're doing. And you also want to train your mind, the style of hunting that you're going to be doing out there, and doing everything to get prepared for that kind of hunt. And that also includes shooting your rifle at longer ranges that you may be used to doing for whitetail. If you're interested in booking a hunt out west, feel free to use the information in the description to reach out and book your free consultation with me. I'm able to go over application strategies, gear, and even discussing different outfitters that we have.